Hi, this is Peter's Man Cave, and we're going to be doing a review of a MiG 270 Mig Welder today. It's a 270 amp, 110, 220 volt Mig Welder. Alright, we're going to review what's coming in this MiG 270 box. It is a 110, 220 volt. And let's see what came with this welder. First of all, we got the owner's manual. And the owner's manual shows 3 different series here. It does show this series, but this series comes with as a 160 amp, 180, 200, 250, and 270. They give you the information on the 160 through the 250, but not the 270, which is the one that I have. I've asked the vendor to see if they can send me an updated manual with the 270 in there. It's not really going to be that much difference, but it would be nice to have. So that's the owner's manual that came with it. Next thing we have is they give you a welder's goggles and a hammer and brush for welding. Both of these are pretty cheap. I wouldn't ever use these goggles, so we won't be using those. This might come in handy sometime. The next thing that we have is they give you a spool of welding wire. This is for the MiG. It is AWS E71T-GS, size 1.0 millimeters. It's 1 kilogram, and it is carbon steel gas shielded welding wire. So they give you a free thing of welding wire. Next thing we have is the gas tube that connects to your regulator, your gas regulator, and to the back of the MIG welder or to the TIG welder tube. So this will be used for that. I did want to mention that this welder comes with pretty much everything except a gas regulator and the tank of gas. So you will need to buy a gas regulator to go with this. Next thing that we have is the ground clamp. And the ground clamp is 6 feet long. The end on it, which different welders have different size ends, this is a DKJ 10-25, and that is what the size of this tip is on here. So that is the size for all the different connectors on this particular welder. The clamp itself seems pretty good. I don't know how it'll hold up over the long run, but for a hobbyist like myself, this should work great. Next thing we're going to look at is the Welder Electrode. This is 6.5 feet long. I've looked at it, and it will hold the arc welder sticks. The spring on it is pretty strong and has the same end as the ground clamp. Next thing that we have is the Tig Welder Torch. And this Tig Welder Torch has a number on it. It is a WP-17V. The Tig Welder Torch comes with a gas adjustment here to turn it on and turn it off. And it plugs into the plus terminal. And this end, you would plug this into this gas thing and just put the hose clamp on there to connect the TIG. This TIG cable is 13.5 feet long. What comes with the TIG for the accessories that they give you is they give you 2 cups, the gas cups. One is a size 6 and one is a size 5. They give you 2 colettes. One is a 5/64 and one is a 1/16. They also give you a gas nozzle in the TIG torch, and it is a 3/32. So the way that this goes together is this goes in here. This would go on here. Depending on what size titanium rod you got, this would go in here. The titanium rod would go inside it, and then you just hand tighten this and make sure that the titanium rod is sticking out to the appropriate size, depending on what size titanium rod you're using. Okay, the next thing we have up is the Mig Welder Torch. And this Mig Welder Torch has a standard Euro fitting on it. This Euro fitting torch, you can buy these on eBay, Amazon, and different places, and they're relatively cheap. This one is a 10-foot one that comes with it. It's got a metal liner inside, so it's good for steel and stainless steel, welding wire. But if you want to do aluminum, what you would do is this part here turns out, and there's this steel tubing in there. You take that out, and what you would do is order Teflon liner and put that in there. And the Teflon liner has less friction for the aluminum wire to go through, so it doesn't jumble up inside the machine. So they also give you, for this Mig Welder, they give you a tool to take off the tips and tighten things up in there. They give you the part that goes on here, I think. Yep. And so they give you that, and they give you 2 tips, 2 Mig Welder tips. This cable is pretty heavy duty cable, and 10 foot is good for aluminum welding if you get the Teflon liner, and to do aluminum welding you should also get a U groove wheel, which I've ordered, and I will be doing another video on aluminum welding. I'll give that a try. What I want to mention is this welder, like I said before, is 220. You can plug it into a 220 outlet or a 110, which is regular house outlet. The way that works is on the back of the welder, there's a 110. You could either plug that directly into the wall, or you plug it into here and then plug this into a 220 outlet. You don't have to make any adjustments on this machine. The machine will know whether it's 110 or 220. Some machines you have to flip a switch. So let's get to the machine itself. Right. The machine itself is pretty heavy duty. I mean, it seems like it's really well built. It's all metal. It's got nice plastic ends on it, and it's pretty lightweight. I didn't weigh it exactly, but I'd say it weighs around 20 pounds. And it's really easy to pick up, so you could actually take it with you anywhere and do some welding if you need to. So let's cover some of the knobs on the front. Okay, we'll start at the top. There's a switch here to use MMA or stick arc welding. You would flip that switch if that's what you want to do. You flip it to the middle and it's lift TIG, and you flip the switch down if you want to do MIG welding, and that's flux core MIG welding or gas welding. The next button we have here is a red button, and this is for wire speed. This is when you load a new spool of wire on and you want to send the wire out through the Mig torch to get to the tip without pulling the trigger and using any gas. This is a high speed. It really shoots that wire out pretty quickly, so it's a really good feature to have. Some welders don't have that. Next we have the current knob, and this is for MIG, or for MMA, arc welding, and also for the TIG. Okay. Next we have a burn back, and the burn back has to do with the MIG welding. And what that does is you could set this knob here to put out more wire after you let go of the trigger. So when you're welding, the wire is melting at the end, and sometimes when you let go of the trigger, it's so hot it'll just melt right back to the tip of the welder, and then once it does that, it sticks it and you have to pretty much replace it. So this burn back feature gives you the option, so when you let go of the trigger, it's going to put out some extra wire to keep it away from that tip, and that's a really good feature, I found out. Next knob we have is the voltage, and the voltage is for the MIG. So these knobs, all of them, seem like they're pretty good. They don't seem like they're cheap knobs, or the controls behind them. So we got the voltage, and then the next knob is for wire speed. And some of the newer ones, they don't even have wire speed on there, the cheaper welders, but this one seems to have pretty much everything that you need. The only thing that it doesn't have is inductance control, which a lot of them that have inductance don't have wire speed. So there might be a little bit of a trade-off there, but I think this will work out pretty good. This here is where the power comes out of the welder, and you plug it into either the plus or the minus depending on what kind of welding you're doing, and you would look into owner's manual to find out which configuration you need to do. All right, and this is where the European fitting for the MIG welder would go. So let me show you what the insides look like. Here you can see this is where the spool of MIG wire goes, and this could take the smaller spool, or it could take 11-pound spool. This here is the wire feed mechanism, and it's all steel. And you just flip this down, you push the wire through there, let it pop out the top, you push this back down again, and you flip it up, and you could adjust this for the tension on the wire. This metal feed system I've noticed on quite a few welders, high end and middle grade, and that's why I thought this welder has this metal wire feed, so it should do a pretty good job. The next part is the back, and in the back you have the on-off switch, you have the outlet for the gas where you would hook up the hose from the gas regulator to this welder. Next you would have, and the input for the on-off is the electrical cord, which I showed before, and the input is 110 or 220 volts, 50 or 60 hertz. All right, I think that's pretty much it on this welder. Like I say, this is very light, but yet it seems like it's pretty heavy duty as far as the outsides of it. So I'm pretty happy with what I have so far, and now it'll be just a matter of giving it a test. So I'm hoping that you like this review, and the next thing I'm going to be doing is showing you some welding and how it come out. I'm not a professional welder by no means. I only do it when I'm fooling around with one of my toys that I need to have welded, lawn tractors and stuff like that, and or on a car, you know, backhoe a little bit. But yeah, if you could subscribe, that would be great, and give me a thumbs up. So next thing you know, we're going to do some welding. Let's go see how it works. Okay, so I've got the wire in there, I've fed it through, and I've got the gun hooked up. So let's see if we can get this wire out of here, out of the tip. Okay. Let's put this nozzle on now. Put the end. Okay, let's try tacking some 1/8 inch steel. It's set at 19 volts and the current is 110. Let's just tack it and then we'll weld it. So here's the tacking. This is 1/8 inch steel, just from a bed frame. I don't have too much to practice with. So let's see how she goes here. So that's what the well is looking like. It looks like it's doing a pretty good job. You can see it started to come through the back a little bit. So that's what the weld looks like. That's 19 volts, 110 on the current setting, which is the wire speed. So I'm happy with that. Okay, now we're gonna just try and run a bead with the stick welder, and I'm just gonna run a bead next to where I did the MIG weld. See how this goes. Don't really stick weld. So that's practice stick weld. I don't really stick weld or TIG weld or even MIG weld. It's just a hobby. So that turned out pretty good as far as I could tell. That was current in 95 amps, and it was 6013 wire that I used. 95 amps, it says 19 volts, and this is 1/8 inch steel. So okay, I'm going to attempt left TIG. I've only tried it once or twice today, and it's definitely a lift TIG, so as far as what I can tell, although I'm no welder. So let's give it a shot, and I'm just trying to feed some wire in as I'm going. I'll go alongside these other welds. First I'll just go a little bit with no weld, and then I'll feed some feeder stick in there, some feeder cable. well, that was an attempt, and let's see how it cleans up. So that's an attempt. This is stick, MIG, and TIG. And this welder comes with everything to do all those. The only thing the welder doesn't come with is the gas and the gas regulator, which you'll have to buy, and some tungsten. Okay. Hope you'll subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I just wanted to review this welder since I didn't see any out there. This is the MIG 270. This is my first review of any products, and I'm hoping that you'll give me some leeway here on doing my first review. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and give me some nice comments or something. If you see me doing something wrong, let me know. Thank you.